Define juvenile phase, reproductive phase, senescent phase. Now students, all these phases, juvenile phase, reproductive phase and senescent phase, they are the phases of the life cycle. So the lifespan, it is the phases of the lifespan. Now this lifespan is divided into three phases. The first one is juvenile phase, reproductive phase and senescent phase. Now in the juvenile phase, all organisms have to reach a certain stage of growth and maturity in their life before they can reproduce. Now this period of growth is called as juvenile phase. Now once a new individual is formed, the organs are not completely developed, so it is a growth period. During this growth period, all the internal organs, they develop, and after certain stage, when all the organs are completely formed, it is called as maturity and they can reproduce sexually. Now this growth period is called as juvenile phase. Now all this growth period until the adult stage, they are called as juvenile phase. Now the reproductive phase, the end of the juvenile or vegetative phase, which marks the beginning of the reproductive phase. Now this period is called as reproductive phase, where an individual gains a sexual maturity and can reproduce or give rise to a new organism. So this phase is called as reproductive phase. So during this phase, the organisms can produce or they can give rise to new individual. So in higher plants, this phase is marked by the onset of the flowers. So if in a plant, if you take the plant lifespan, that is life cycle or its lifespan, when they start producing flower, it is an indication that the juvenile phase has been reached the reproductive phase. Now juvenile phase is followed by many morphological and physiological changes prior to the active reproductive behavior. Now in case of animals, after juvenile phase, the reproductive phase is formed. So once the juvenile phase is completed, we can see the changes in an individual, both the external appearance or the physiological changes which inside the body. All these changes indicate that the reproductive phase has been, the individual has entered into the reproductive phase. Senescent phase, the last part of the lifespan, it begins from end of the reproductive phase. During this phase of the lifespan, there is a progress, deterioration in the body. Old age ultimately leads to the death. So senescent is the last phase in the lifespan where the cell slowly loses its function, slowly loses the ability to do its normal function, and which cannot be reversed back. Now such changes where it loses the ability to divide, when an organ is not functioning, the ability to recover, all these changes which occurs in a slow manner which cannot be reversed back, it is called as senescent phase. And finally the senescent phase lead to the death of an individual. It is also called as old age. Now these are the different stages of the lifespan. Juvenile phase, it is called as growth period. Reproductive phase, where an individual gives rise to a new offspring. Senescent phase, where the cells loses its ability to do the normal function.